Hey guys, I'm Jordan Fromer. I believe in hunting hard, hunting smart, and having a fun time while doing it. And shooting limits, well, that's just the icing on the cake. I revel in the journey just as much as the successes it brings. From ducks to dogs to decoys and guns, we'll be talking tactics, strategies, and what it takes to get the job done. Load up and take aim. This is the Duck Gun Podcast. What's going on, guys? Thanks for joining me on another episode of the Duck Gun Podcast. I'm Jordan from Duck Gun Chronicles. Got my co-host alongside me, Elliot Graybeard from Freelance Duck Hunting on YouTube. Thanks for joining us, guys. How you doing, Elliot?
It's just the two of us tonight, so we can talk about whatever we want, right?
Yep, whatever we want.
Getting in a little alone time.
Nice.
What's been going on?
Oh, you know, not a lot. I've been working. I guess I can talk about this a little bit. So I got this plan for this new type of content I'm going to do this season. Maybe I shouldn't talk about it, but oh well, I've started anyway. So I'm going to be bringing a migration report video weekly. So doing my best to make it high quality, talking to all the people who are going to be involved. And I think you guys are going to like the list of YouTubers that are going to be in on it weekly. So been working on that a lot, learning some After Effects. Yeah, how about you?
Well, I just got my shipment of White Rock decoys in, and I'm super excited about our partnership with them. And I've had Golden Boy come over a couple days ago, and we put together all the flags. So I think there was trying to think, 6 to 8 dozen flags in all, and those actually take a little bit of time to put together. I guess you can purchase them in like either already put together or pay less and put together, right? Isn't that how it works?
I'd have to double check on that.
That's what Aiden was saying. But anyway, it was fun. We just hung around and put all these 4 dozen mallard windsocks and
yeah.
Actually, we were watching all of season 2 and putting those together. And the thing about them I'm really, really excited about. So Saturday, Aiden and I went out to one of the wildlife areas that we hunt because we hadn't checked out these pools. And this massive pool they've planted all in corn. I mean, this thing, I don't know how many acres, but it's huge. And it's almost a 2-mile walk to get to the back end of this. So it's really hard to access. And the thing I don't know if this will work out, but what I'm really excited about is I know about how much of this pool floods, and not all of it floods, but they planted all of it in corn. So you're going to have a line of water that extends up into the corn. So that being the case, I'm hoping that we can get out there and set up just massive spreads with all of the White Rock socks and the silhouettes, and set up like 200 decoys where all the land decoys are right at the edge of the water, and then all of the floaters are out in there, and then us in our layout boat. So I didn't think that I'd be able to use all of the decoys during the major part of duck hunting season, hunting marshes and stuff. But the way this corn is laid out, I think I'm hoping that we can get out there and just set up some just monster decoy sets out in the corn. So I'm really pumped.
Awesome. Yeah, I got my shipment in as well, and pretty pumped. Get out there, and I mean, just everything I do just makes me that much more ready for duck season. But yeah, that's awesome. You got the corn though. I think those corn hunts should be money. As far as I know, Indiana doesn't have anything like that in my area.
Well, I don't know what the deal is. There's 2 main waterfowl areas that we hunt. They're reservoirs, and then there's little marshes all around them. And both of the game managers have gone heavy on the corn this year, and neither of these places have had corn before. So I've only hunted flooded corn one time in my life, and if things work out like I think they're going to, I would say a huge portion of our November and December hunts are going to be in flooded corn, which will be really interesting because it's just going to be different videos, and different hunt types than what we've been accustomed to. So getting all these White Rock decoys in couldn't come at a better time. And maybe it won't play out like that, but that's in my mind. That's how I'm hoping it's going to be.
Yeah, who knows once season comes? We always have
Yeah.
these plans and the weather and the duck movement, and just got to play it by that. So
yeah, that's part of being a freelancer is, you know, not knowing where you're going to go until the day comes. But we are desperately hurting for water. But both of these pools get pumped, so they're going to be fine. But if we were to get some late rains and some of these other pools that we traditionally hunt were to fill up at the last second, which can happen, but like right now, the spots where we shot most of our ducks last year are completely dry and are going to take a flood event to have any water in them at all. So, and central Kansas is even worse. I mean, there's no water right now. I mean, we are really, really hurting bad.
That's no good. Gotta have water.
But at least we
ducks.
get these pools that they pump.
Yep.
Yeah, but sometimes when you deal with a drought, and I don't know that we're technically in a drought. I know portions of the state would be, but like Nebraska and Iowa and Illinois, all those places have tons of water. The Missouri River is actually up much higher than you'd expect it to be, which runs right by here. But sometimes when there's lack of water and a lot of the ponds are drying, it can also have a positive effect in that it brings the ducks all in. They have fewer options of where to go, you know. So they can be easier to find sometimes too. Maybe in this situation, those places with corn in them will just be filthy with ducks,
and hopefully not filthy with hunters.
Well, yeah, I know, but and I've already obviously thought about that. But these pools are big, and like I really think with our layout boats and as big as they are, we can get in spots where we're at least 200 yards plus from other guys. I think. Nice. I think they're going to be kind of hard to hunt. I think they're going to be hard to hunt.
Like hard to get into? Or you mean harder?
Yeah, like hard to get into how we get into them.
Okay.
Like, you know, like this one corn place with corn is, like I said, it's 2 miles walk to the back end of it. Back there, because we use our boat and then we portage our kayaks, our layout boats off of our 18-footer. So we can easily access that back part of that corn section where if anyone's walking, I mean, when they've got a pool of corn and then a dike and then another huge pool of corn, there's not a lot of incentive to walk the full 2 miles for these guys. Yeah. So I think we should be, and I think we should be good. It's just a matter of getting our layout boats into the corn. And that's the big advantage that we tend to have is finding a way to get our boats into pools that other people don't get their boats into.
Nice. Yeah. That's just crazy. You guys have some crazy stuff that I don't have to think about here, but
yeah.
Mostly I just try to get far away from launches and stuff. Get access further upriver. But.
Yeah, in this area, it's all about finding the pools that are harder to hunt and finding a way to get your layout boat onto that pool, and then you have an added advantage immediately. I mean, there's lots of pools there's at least 2 or 3 pools that I can think of that we've had our layout boats on that I've never ever seen anyone else with a layout boat on.
Because they just normally sitting there, standing there, or what?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. They normally sit. They normally walk in as far as they can, and sit in. There will be on each pool. There'll be a couple of areas where guys like to sit, and you can pretty much find guys at those areas. But some of these pools are hard to hunt. There's not a lot of timber, and especially with this corn, I don't know. Guys, I imagine will walk out with buckets and sit in the uncut corn on buckets is probably what they'll do, but. Like I said, it's just such a big pool. I don't think there'll be an incentive to walk a full 2 miles. Because there's always someone who's got a little bit of crazy in them that'll do it. But
yeah, I mean, a little bit of crazy is good though, and I think in duck hunting makes you get out there a little bit more. You know, one thing that I envy about you is kind of your knowledge of so many different areas. Because like, I only been hunting for a little while, and you've been hunting for 25 years. Mm-hmm. And so like the amount of spots that I know and like know well are somewhat limited, but you know, I know some really good spots in those areas. And then like the one thing I have a hard time of doing during the regular season or what, the regular season, the hunting season is taking time off of like a hunt instead of hunting to like go try somewhere new you're not totally sure of, to kind of expand those really good spots. And I think you have to like hunt or scout or take some time away, like maybe even like some people do like a hunt scout where you're scouting and hunting at the same time, to kind of check out some of these spots. But yeah, that's one thing I'm gonna have to try to figure out like a good strategy for, because a lot of times you just want to go to, you know, one of your known spots that you do really well at, opposed to trying somewhere new that maybe you'll find your new honey hole or, you know, something like that.
So do you have areas in mind that you would like to explore, or you're not even the point you have at?
I do somewhat. I think you're kind of cutting out right now as far as your audio and video. Maybe it'll just neutralize here in a second. Or
okay.
Okay. Yeah, I definitely have some spots. Like one spot, but usually it's just like they're kind of further out, or like you know, I can think of one spot and it's kind of close to the honey hole, and by kind of close, maybe like a quarter of a mile up a river, and I just haven't tried it yet. And then there's just certain marshes and lakes that I want to try that I know of that have public access, further away from home. And a lot of times I kind of just go with like the tried and true.
Well, yeah, I'll tell you, when I was getting to know the area, the main area to hunt, I was living up there by myself. And here's how I did it. I think to do this, you need to download Google Earth actually onto your PC in order to drop permanent pins and things like that. But I would start with just really looking at Google Earth long periods of times and just putting pins in where you want to scout. And then, you know, don't do it during the season. Once season is over, March, April, go out and hit a couple of those spots when you have the reverse migration. And so at least you've seen them and you have your eyes on them, and then get out there a couple weeks before the season. And like right now, we're in the phase of sweeping through everything and looking at every pool, and checking every pool out. And do that during the beginning of the season. And then once you've gotten to the point where you've been out there, you've seen what it looks like, inevitably you're going to have a string of bad hunting at some point where you're at. And then that's when you'll probably have the gumption to be like, you know what, I haven't been doing very well at my normal spots. I'm going to go and just try this. At least you've already been in it. You've identified it. And that gives you a lot more likelihood to actually go hunt it.
Yeah, I guess I have done that even to some extent, as far as like the reverse migration, but I wasn't sure like how well that would pattern to the rest of their during season time. Just because, yeah, I just wasn't sure. Like there's one kind of small lake, and doesn't really have that great of access. It would really take a good bit to get into it. And on the reverse migration, we just saw tons and tons of birds in there. So, you know, maybe that's something to check out during season then, if that's a good indicator.
Well, I think it's an indicator. I know that for a fact that as far as the blue-winged teal goes, there's places that we see blue-winged teal in on the reverse migration that are not there on the migration south. So I don't know why that's the case, but that specifically, I know with blue wings, it seems to be the case that they certainly hit spots on the way back up that I don't see them, but it's certainly an indicator. And, you know, next time you get a kind of a bad run going, you're just like, man, where should I go? You know,
that's true.
But it always helps me to have lists and have things like organized in ways. So once I put pins on Google Earth on my desktop and just mark it that I need to scout it, I typically get the scouting done. And then once I get the scouting done, I'm way more likely to actually add it into my hunt location pool.
See, I've had a lot. I have a lot of pins on there as well. And I've actually gone to a lot of the places and then I just don't hunt them. So
yeah. Well, I mean, if you're doing well where you're at, there's no real reason to. But.
Yeah. Usually I'm doing like okay or well, but like I went out and tried a new spot this year, and you know, the first time I went out there, shot a limit. I'm like, well, you know, maybe need to try this more often. So,
yeah. Or maybe, I mean, ultimately finding time to scout the places are better than not. Myself, I can't scout that much just because I'm a regular job. So a lot of what I've got to do is, man, this place is traditionally good. I know what the kind of food is in there. I'm pretty sure they're going to be there and go, but
Yeah.
I wish it was different. But
So you're still cutting in and out. What do you think about restarting your setup and before we go into the main topic?
okay, yep.
All right. Yeah, just go ahead and I'll fly solo for a bit.
Okay.
I'll field any questions anybody has right now. If not, I'll talk about Teal season until he gets back. So pretty pumped for Teal season. Got some stuff planned out. Me and my dad are actually going to go out on a camping trip for the first weekend of Teal season, going down south. Hopefully, we get into some good teal hunts. We don't necessarily have like a large number of teal. We usually have just enough to kind of get by in my area. Yeah, so like I said, not a ton of birds, but usually if I get 2 or 3 on a hunt, I'll go solo hunts, get them for Chief so he can get the rust knocked off him and get ready for big ducks, and I can get some of my shooting rust knocked off as well. And I just love to be out there. Like, some people really have to shoot limits to enjoy it, but like if I'm out there and I shoot a couple birds, especially early teal season when I don't have high expectations, I'm going to be super stoked to just be out there and see Chief work. That's kind of one of the best things about any time I'm hunting. So just get a few birds. But anyways, we're going down south because getting more than a few birds is all right too. So hopefully we getting some good birds down there. We'll be down there for a couple days, just a weekend trip. And yeah, should be fun. The next week I actually have stuff planned as well. So the next weekend I'm actually going to do a collaboration with another YouTuber going a little bit further south. I don't know if I'm necessarily going to announce that yet, but yeah, once we'll go for that weekend, and it's in Kentucky, and the way they have it there is you get wood ducks along with your teal, which I had never heard of that. It's pretty crazy to be able to get a couple wood ducks along with your teal. So out of your six birds, 2 can be wood ducks, the rest have to be teal. So yeah, pretty awesome. Chief is doing great. We've been working with Chief, and by we I just mean me, trying to do it a couple times a day minimum, even more than that if I can. We've had a little bit of issues. He had his nose kind of get scraped up earlier, so we couldn't retrieve for a bit. It's all healed up now. Yeah, then he had a leg injury. He was limping for a little bit, so we took it easy on him then. So yeah, he's doing great. Besides that, just working on it, trying to get everything tuned up. By no means he's not a perfect retriever, but that's not his fault, it's mine. Once Blind Outdoors. Have you seen the video of crash test with dog kennels? Yeah, I have seen that. Saw some of the promotion they're doing that. Yeah, it definitely seems like a good thing to do. Chief actually just rides in the vehicle with me, not in a kennel at all, so I can see how, yeah, one of those would help for sure. Dom, I am definitely planning to hunt with Elliot this year. We got a plan. We're gonna plan a trip in I don't know which month yet, November, December, sometime in that, and I'm gonna come to Kansas, and yeah, it's gonna be awesome. So they have Kyle, you're saying they have a wood duck teal hunt in Tennessee as well? That's awesome, man. Maybe I need to get on to Tennessee sometime. I got family that lives in Tennessee, so that would be cool to get on a wood duck teal hunt there as well. All right, I'm gonna add Elliot to the call. What's up, Jordan Roller? Yep, trying Kentucky this year. Should be awesome. Hope you guys have success there too. All right, getting Elliot back in here. Loading up right now. Still loading. There we go. And I think he's back. Live with one guest. There we go. What's up,
All right.
Elliot?
Oh, sorry about that. I hope that if it continues, we'll just have to, I don't know. Maybe you have to go solo. We'll see.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna take off my sweatshirt, so it's kind of getting hot down here. Then we're gonna
Okay,
go
well,
into the main topic.
that sounds good. That sounds good. Thank you guys for being patient with us about the problems and delays. I don't even remember what we were talking about. We can just go into the main topic.
Man, this is kind of nice. We don't have a guest. We don't have to be like all official. It's just us and the guys, and
Yep.
just have a good time. And
Yeah, I'm glad we're having this problem when I have another guest on. So, but let me know. Is it still cutting out at all, or does it sound okay?
I mean, it sounds all right. Yeah, I think it's not cutting out, but for whatever reason, our connection isn't the best tonight. Like as far as your image is like pixely. So I don't know, but hopefully it's just fine.
Well,
We can't do it, huh? What'd you say?
so what do you want to do? You want to try to put on through, or thing?
Let's give it a second, see if it neutralizes.
Okay.
But yeah, it's fine now, but it wasn't a second ago. So
Okay. Well, hopefully it'll be. If not, we can always close it down and just do straight audio or something.
yeah.
But whatever you think is fine.
Trying to think about it.
Yeah. Well, let's just talk a little bit more in the monitor how it's going.
Okay.
And then we could just go from there.
Yeah. Okay. It's definitely cutting in and out kind of bad, but so I'm just not sure if I should what I should make the call.
Well,
It's back now. What the heck? Let me try something.
I guess our two options are you just go ahead and going on and doing it by yourself, or you just doing the live stream here on YouTube by yourself, and then we could record for the podcast separately. I don't know.
I think let's go for it, and if it cuts out, then we'll stop. We'll give it one more chance.
Okay. One more chance.
Right now you're good, so.
Okay, well, hopefully it'll stay that way.
All right. Let's go for it. So,
all right.
Anyways, if you guys are just joining us now, I'm Jordan from Duck Gun Chronicles, my co-host Elliot from Freelance Duck Hunting on YouTube, and our topic for the day is the budget hunter and deals for a budget hunter. So yeah, I guess I'll go ahead with my first one. Kind of, one that I've been becoming more aware of here recently, kind of with the White Rock stuff, is being able to expand your set on a budget to get like windsocks or silhouettes is a way better price than buying full bodies by hundreds of dollars. And so that'd be the first tip to kind of say on that. You can really expand your set by dozens on a budget if you go the silhouette and windsock route.
Yeah, I'm really going to be interested to see the kind of success that we have with the windsocks, which I think we'll have great success. There's a lot of people that swear by them, and other people that want the full bodies. I feel like, and I was talking with Aiden about this, that if you can get out 10 to 12 to 15 dozen silhouettes and windsocks, that's better than 3 or 4 dozen full body. I just the number that you throw out like that is, I think, better.
Yeah, I'd agree. And like one thing, like you do hear some people say some like negative things, like, oh, you got to go full bodies, but you see so many of these big outfitters who literally have to depend on people coming back for their business, and they use silhouettes and windsocks all the time. And if they didn't work, they wouldn't use them. Those would be the people who wouldn't use them for sure. When your business depends on it. So, and you can just see a lot of other success stories with them. So,
yeah,
I would agree with you on that.
All right. So my number one budget, the thing that I do to keep costs low, because gosh, I've got so much waterfowl crap and equipment, and I don't have a ton of money to be spending on it, is looking for especially underlayers at Salvation Army and Goodwill stores. I've actually have a couple videos out. I think one's on Patreon and one's on YouTube about specifically finding things to wear in Goodwill or Salvation Armies. And I've got one Salvation Army and one Goodwill that I hit about 5 or 6 times a year. And not every time do I go out there do I find items to wear hunting, but I'd say 2 out of every 5 I will find something, whether it's a hoodie I can wear underneath or even like camo overlay, or like I found my this year's pair of camo hunting pants last time I went out. So inevitably it's like $5 for each of these things. Now, you're not going to look as stylish as if you wear Sitka gear, but I mean, it looks so cool. I just personally don't have the budget for it. So I think it's kind of a challenge. And when I go into a Goodwill and find something for hunting, it's like my whole day. It makes my whole day.
Awesome. Yeah, actually, kind of something to hit on the same vein is that, I do a lot of the same type of things with the camo. Like your outer layer does have to be good camo, but beyond that, as far as like getting camo at a cheaper price, you can get it post season. A lot of times it's on sale up to like 60% off, which is pretty crazy compared to like paying full price, being 60% off. There's a lot of buy, sell, trade sites, like website pages on Facebook where you can sell, buy or trade, obviously. So then another thing, like you're talking about like the brands like Sitka and stuff. Like I got there's a store called Big R in my area, and it's got some camo in there. It's mostly like a farm supply type deal. And I bought like a camo digital hunting shirt, and I wear it a lot in like turkey season, but it looks very similar to Sitka. And my friend would call it like he'd call it Fitka, like how people called like Oakleys like Folkleys or whatever, the fake ones. So I mean, you can get that at like a way cheaper price than Sitka. And like I don't think it probably wouldn't keep you as warm as Sitka. Like Sitka's some good stuff, but early season you don't have to worry about that as much. So going that route for camo, definitely. And like you said, resell as well.
My dad and I both wear this flannel for a good portion of our hunts that my dad found at Walmart. It's just like brown and 2 kind of tones of brown flannel, and it's my outer layer a lot of the time, and it works perfectly. And I've had so many people on comments ask me where we got those flannels. I'm like $15 at Walmart. I mean, it doesn't have to actually be camo if it's the right colors.
Yeah, and actually, I think I always hunt with. Well, that's not true. Most of the time I hunt with camo, but I think as long as you have like an outer layer, like even if you had that flannel and like it wasn't the right color and it's warm, just throw that under and you get a long sleeve shirt. Maybe it's a size too big that's got camo on it. I mean, if you're on a budget, that's all you can get, then go for that. That's gonna work.
Yeah. Well, I have about 4 different vests that I wear. And early season teal, I'm probably just wearing 1 vest. Late season, I'm wearing 4. And so I layer up the center part of my body a great deal. And then what I have coming out the sleeves is typically that flannel. And my top vest is camo. And then I've got the flannel coming out the shoulders. But layering with vests, and most of them I found at garage sales and places like that, is, I mean, it's so warm and you don't have that bulk on your shoulders. So that's really how I go about it, is always looking for vests like that for, this little garage sales or whatever.
I've never worn a vest.
It works perfectly because it keeps your core really, really cold, but it keeps your shoulders flexible. Because I don't shoot well when I'm wearing.
I need like
it's all crazy.
I need like a vest for my feet, I think. I don't know.
Layer your socks.
That's the only thing that really gets cold is my feet, honestly. Feet and hands, so.
Yeah. My feet too, not my hands. What else? What else we got for?
Next one I got is going with some of that discount ammo. You don't have to necessarily buy the heavy shot, and I've never. I think I've tried it once, but you know, it's good stuff from what I hear, but I think some of that cheap stuff works as well. I mean, the one thing I'd caution is just make sure you pattern it to your shotgun. Every ammo works different, and if you pattern a cheap ammo, it works good with your shotgun. You know, and you're on a budget, no reason to go for the heavy shot. You can save your money there.
Yeah, I've never shot the expensive brands ever. Right now we're shooting Federal, and I got a box of sixes for $80 after a $20 rebate from Rogers. So I mean, it's a great price. That's a great.
You ever
price.
thought about going for Federal's premium? Don't they have the Black Cloud, right?
Yeah, it's just too expensive for me right now. It's just too expensive.
Yeah.
I would like to try it at some point. Just do a whole year where that's what I use. Just go in and buy a case of it and see. But it's so expensive right now. I like the cheaper stuff.
Yeah,
so.
I'm the same way. Like, there's a lot of stuff you got to spend a lot of money on in hunting, and if you can get away with the cheaper ammo, and I shoot the Winchesters, which I don't know how they compare. It's about, I'm trying to think. I think it's about like $13 for 25 shots if you buy it, individually. So I guess that'd be like what, 130 for a case. It's 10 in a case.
Yeah, it's a lot more than what if you buy them in a case, like this rebate, it comes to $8 a box. I mean, you can't beat that.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure the Winchester in a case probably goes down somewhat too, maybe 20, $30.
Yeah, you should be buying them out of cases, man.
Yeah, I should.
Well, it's really what we do is like this year I did it with Aiden, but normally I do it with my dad, but he's got so many shells he didn't shoot last year. Is we'll buy a case of 4s and a case of 2s, and then we'll go in halves on them. So I'll have 5 boxes of 4s, 5 boxes of 2s. I typically shoot between 150 and 225 shots a year. So a full case will normally do it. Start out with 4s, switch to 2s.
Well, my horse story with buying a case is my buddy told me I should buy some Kent Fast Deals, and he said they got a great deal on it, and so he sent me like a link to buy a case, and I bought a case, and it patterned unshootable through my shotgun.
Oh my gosh.
So I had a whole case of ammo. Like I shot like a few boxes with it, and like I wasn't hitting anything, and I immediately, not immediately, obviously, I went back to the Winchesters, and no joke, just knocking them dead, like just like that. And so yeah, that's my cautionary tale for buying it. Never buy a case until you pattern it, because you can have something bad happen like that.
So did you actually pattern those Kents, or you just weren't hitting anything with them?
I patterned it later. Yeah, it was awful.
It was just, what distance? Do you remember what distance it was that you patterned it at?
I want to say it was like 30 yards.
And it was just sporadic. All the pellets were all over the place.
Yeah, it was really weird, because it was like inconsistent, one thing, and then two, like it'd be like a spurt of them would be like in the circle, and the rest would just be all over the place, and so there'd be huge gaps in it.
Huh. I wonder why that is. You know what? We need to get a shotgun guy. Yeah, because we've had all these conversations about choke tubes, and like we need to get someone that sells choke tubes and get them on here and talk about all this stuff.
Yeah, I've been trying to look into it, but I don't know.
Because why would different shells pattern differently on different guns? Why would that be the case?
I don't know. I really don't. But I mean, I know firsthand it happens, because like, yeah, it's just night and day difference between the Winchesters. Like the Winchester, like the circle is just covered in BBs, and then Kent's, it's like not even half.
That's crazy.
And like I should say, like, Kents aren't bad. Like a lot of people love Kents, and they're great out of certain guns. But one thing I wondered if why the Winchesters pattern so well out of a Browning gun is because Winchester is owned by Browning. So maybe they make sure their shells pattern good out of the guns they own, or something along those lines.
Yeah. I shot Kent for 2 or 3 years and didn't have any problem with it at all.
Yeah, my buddy's got a Benelli Black Eagle 2, and he loves the Kents, and he does really well with them. But not me. So
we've traditionally we've been shooting Federals for a long time, and I tend to like them just fine. They seem to do well. I'm always, if I miss, I typically blame them. I mean, I haven't gone out and I need to go out and pattern it again, because it's been a few years. since I've
Yeah.
done that. But I did pattern them, and they, they're. And here's a question. We're getting a little bit off topic, but I'm curious on your thoughts on this. So when I was buying a case of shells, I had a choice between 1 1/4 ounce and 1 1/8 ounce. Now the 1 1/4 ounce was 1,400 feet per second, and the 1 1/8 ounce was 1,550 feet per second. So I tend to want more speed over the heavier ounces, but like Golden Boy is opposite. He prefers to have a 1 1/4 ounce load at 1,400 feet per second. Do you have any thoughts on, and anyone that's commenting here on the live stream, what are your thoughts on faster versus more shot?
I would say if you kind of look like back to when people shot lead shot, it was much heavier and much slower. And from what I've heard, it was much more lethal as well. And the same aligns with the heavy shot. They go with making a very expensive blend of non-toxic steel that is as heavy as lead, but I don't believe that the velocity is the same. And the one thing, I've actually brainstormed a lot about this because, the one thing that I would say about the shot speed, like where is that shot speed at? Is that shot speed once the shot leaves the muzzle of the barrel, I'd assume?
Mm-hmm.
And they just measure it right there. But what is it at 30 yards? And if it's a lighter weight of steel, is it actually going to be faster or going at a faster speed once it hits or gets to the bird?
Well, the steel is the pellet for pellet. The steel is the same weight. So at a 1 1/4 ounce, you just have more
weight, right? Yeah.
More weight in. But if you weigh an individual, like or two BB of 1 1, it's the same. Individuals are the same weight. Individual BBs are the same weight. You just have more of it on 1 1/4 ounce. You've got more shot.
Okay, so it's a longer shot string. It's not that the actual BBs weigh more.
Correct. Correct. So like with the lead, you're absolutely right. Lead, I mean, people use 6s with lead back in the day. And I just started my duck hunting when they, like one of the very first few years that they changed it to steel was when we started duck hunting. So I got in from my dad and my uncle, they're griping and moaning about having to use steel, and for the first few years when we were using steel, we were wounding mallards just constantly. I mean, a clean kill it happened, but I mean, it was just a lot of wounded ducks. And so really quickly the manufacturers started increasing the speed on the shell. And so once the speed went up and the wounded, the cripples went down. So I think the thought is once you increase that speed, that equalizes out the lack of weight.
I guess at some point, though, I mean, that's kind of such a weird way of putting it, if that's how it works, like with the weight. But along that line, though, I think that at some point you are at like a velocity that kills. Mm-hmm. And I don't know if it's like, 1350 or 1550. But like if it's going to kill, it's going to kill, right? So at some point, it's probably better to have more shot. But there's at the speed, because you can always go faster, right? But at some point you're at the point of diminishing returns. Like, are we going to go to 1600, like 1650? Is that always more lethal, or is it like once you get to 1450, that's good enough, and let's just add more BBs and keep it at that speed?
Well, I know a guy over on our Facebook page, and if you guys want to come over and join our Facebook group, Fellowship of the Duck Guns, we've got a pretty good group going on over there. But I think it was Steve over there that said he feels like that 1550 is as fast as you want. And if you get faster than that, then it actually hurts what you're trying to do. And he didn't fully explain it, so I won't even try because I don't know. But he was saying that he felt like above 1550, you don't want to go that fast. I had never.
Yeah, I've never heard that as well.
When we were struggling to kill ducks, it was like we were in the low 1300s for speed. So I can tell you, I am never comfortable shooting anything under 1400. 1400 for me is kind of that cutoff line of I'm getting a little nervous. I'm getting a little
Hmm.
nervous at 1400. I certainly, if it's 1385, 1350. Now, this is just based on my pure emotions and my understanding of it. Is I would never go under 1400. Um, but that 1400 was kind of that I wasn't sure. So we actually have in our case of twos, we've got the 1 1/4 ounce load, the 1400, and then they were out of force. We actually bought sixes, and we bought that in the 1 1/8 at 1550. I think if I had to do one of the two, I would tend for the higher speeds. But my dad got to reloading shells himself and did a lot of research. I know he kind of pounded into me, get them fast, faster, faster, faster. So, but I don't know. I don't know what's the truth is. I don't know. It's a real good question.
I would say one thing though, with I would probably be careful with switching up the speeds,
Yeah.
just because you don't want to like start, getting accustomed to leading a bird at a certain speed, and then next thing you know, you switch to your twos, and it's slower, and you start hitting them in the belly instead of the head, or just missing.
Yeah, you're
them.
absolutely right. He had he purchased this box of twos a while back, and then I was scrambling to get in on this sale at Rogers, and they were out of fours, and then the only thing they had in the sixes was the 1 1/8 ounce. So I don't like the fact that we have because I want a consistent speed the whole year. You're absolutely right about that. So as we switch to the twos from the sixes down to the twos, I'm going to certainly try to keep that in my mind to just put a little bit more lead on it.
All right, I got one more tip for the budget stuff, and it's kind of another discussion we've been having in the group, talking about Texas rigs and that kind of stuff. And you can definitely save some money doing some DIY projects, as far as like buying the kits for doing a Texas rig yourself. You can save $10-15, and if you're doing multiple dozens, it kind of adds up. So yeah, and I'm sure there's multiple different things you can do like DIY to save money, but that's my one example for that.
Yeah, did you see Zach's Ascend H12 layout build?
Oh yeah, yep, that's
That
pretty
was
neat.
He was using all PVC pipe, and he got an H12 like we're using, but they discontinued the blind attachment. I know that he made it himself, and man, he did a fantastic job on that.
Nice.
So a lot of those little projects will save you money for sure, and they end up being pretty fun.
Yep. Yeah, just for me, it all comes down to time a lot of times. So
Yeah. I know Golden Boy and I were out scouting that marsh the other day, and there was, I don't know what kind of vegetation it was, but this was the absolute best grass ever for brushing blinds with. But it was like, in order for him to go in and get a bunch of it, I mean, it was everywhere. He was going to have to really, really, really work hard. And I'm like, you can buy Avery Fast Gas for like $30. I'm like, is that really worth $30 to you to come walk or take the boat 2 miles and walk clear in another mile and haul all this stuff out? It's like, spend the $30,
Yep. Yep.
The other one I've got on here is decoys. If you're just getting into waterfowling and you don't have any decoys, a lot of times Craigslist or these Facebook groups, guys will give away old decoys at garage sales. So you can find a lot of decoys really cheap. Now, they may not be the best looking decoys in the world, but if you're just starting the sport and you don't have money to spend, I'd say Facebook groups and forums and Craigslist are a great place to find not only your decoys, but layout boats, things like that.
Yep. Yeah, that's definitely how I started off with some. I think I bought a dozen on my own from Cabela's, and then from there I went garage sale for a while. Facebook Marketplace. Somebody quit duck hunting, and I bought like all his decoys for $30. I thought afterwards, because he was in the same area as me, he's like, "Yeah, all my buddies quit," and I just figured I'd quit too now, and so he gave me all his decoys, and I left. I'm like, man, I should have asked him for his best hunting spots.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
That story made me think of, like, I was like, when did I get my first dozen decoys? And it hit me, and I had totally forgotten about this. On my first wedding, Fumblemits bought me a couple dozen duck decoys and slipped them under the reception table. That was his wedding gift.
Nice. Had you guys been duck hunting then, or?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
But I mean, I had lived most of my hunting was with him. I was I'm sure I probably had some decoys of my own at that point, but that's the first I can actually ever remember getting, because a lot. I mean, his stuff and my stuff becomes interchangeable, and it's that way with kind of with Golden Boy too. It's like, hey, I'm going out to this. I'm coming to grab the feeder decoys or the goose decoys. We all just kind of like everyone's stuff is our stuff. It's kind of always been.
Nice.
Which in my world means my dad paid for most of it back then.
Can't complain about that.
Yeah, his boat's in my driveway right now.
Oh wow. There you go. Yeah, kind of on the. This is kind of off topic. You have another thing before I go off topic. That was the end of my DI or my.
I would just say, well, the only other thing I was thinking is like duck calls, and Duck Commander sells great duck calls between $20 and $30.
Yeah, that was my
They're
first
just a
duck calls as
plastic.
well.
Yeah, I think they sound good. You see them using them. I mean, they use them and they do fine. So I don't use them anymore, but I still have 3. And if you're just looking for a good, solid starter duck call, certainly the Duck Commander they put out a nice cheap call.
Yeah, I got one of their like original wood ones, kind of, from my brother-in-law. He got it, gave to him from somebody else, and he didn't hunt much, and so when I was getting into duck hunting, gave that to me, and man, that call is pretty good for. I mean, I think even the wood ones probably sound better than the plastic ones, but it sounds pretty good. So yeah, you can definitely get away with those Duck Commander calls for sure.
So Ryan Wolford just made a great comment. He said, and I'm assuming this is what he's talking about. He said it's because most choke tubes are designed to run max velocity of 1500. That would be why you wouldn't want to go much over that speed that Steve was talking about, is that the choke tubes are not designed to hold a shell that fast. That's good comment, Ryan. Thank you.
I just wonder how they design it for that. But
yeah, good question. Good question. I'm telling you, we got to get a choke tube guy on here. That's got to be top priority.
Yeah, kind of going
what a
back
fascinating
on
conversation though.
Kyle kind of made a comment too, but somewhere in Wisconsin also made a jerk rig setup video DIY to save some money on that, and I actually got one from him as well. So big shout out to somewhere in Wisconsin. Now I got a jerk rig as well, so be using.
So
that
you made your own?
No. He sent me one.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah. So I got talking to him. He had all the extra supplies and stuff, and I paid for the shipping, so.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, but big shout out to him. So I'm pumped to use that too.
Did you just recently get it, or was that a while ago?
No, it was just right after his video. I made a comment about how I needed one or something like that, and
I did not see that video of his. I wonder how I missed it. I'll have to go back and watch it.
Yeah, it's good video, good jerk rig setup, so it'll work.
So you have any videos coming up recently? You making any? You haven't put much out lately. What's going on?
No, I mean I've been working so hard on like you wouldn't imagine like the time that I've been putting in on learning After Effects, because it's just new software for me, and going through tutorials and trying to figure out how to make like a video with that. So that has been the majority of my time. I have not posted as I'd wanted to, but I definitely have a long list. It's crazy. I have a list of video ideas to do, so definitely need to get on that. But yeah.
So so we expect to see a lot of new extra effects on your hunt videos this year then?
No, because it takes too much time. So what I'm gonna do is just like it's not feasible to spend that much time. I guess once you get better, but like when you have to get these videos out, like your hunt, you have maybe like 2 successful hunts in a week that you want to put together. Like you don't have time to edit those, keep hunting, and do After Effects on all of them. But I do want to make, sweet intro and sweet transitions for my migration hunt video. Like I'm trying to make it kind of like show-esque, and I hate to say this, now it's on live on air, and if it doesn't meet expectations, then then I didn't learn After Effects as well as I wanted to. But right now, that's what I'm working on. So I'm really pumped to be able to it's going to be a collaboration of a bunch of YouTubers. Some of you guys are in here as well. So
can you name drop it? Are you ready to drop some names? I know I'm going to.
Sure. Let me go find my list. I do have, So the contributors so far is going to be me. It's going to be Elliot. I'm trying to remember if Foul Front said he was going to be in it. Oh yeah, Foulfront definitely said he's going to be in it.
Okay.
Virginia Outdoors Unlimited, High Prairie Sportsman, somewhere in Wisconsin, Mid Valley Mercenary, Iowa Plainsman. I don't know if I'm trying to think. Foul Assassin, I know I messaged him. He messaged me back. I'm not sure if he said he's in here. So Foul Assassin, if you're gonna do it, you can just drop it in the chat. So yeah, pretty much all the YouTubers you love and know. Oh, Quack Addicts, he's gonna do it as well. I forgot to check him off, but yeah. So it's gonna be cool. I'll just talk about the format a little bit. It's just going to be kind of an update video format from people across the country talking about how it's going, the weather, the bird numbers, what they expect the birds to do, how their hunt went. And just pretty cool collaboration of a bunch of YouTubers all in the same video talking about how the weather's going, their hunts are going, and the migration report. So
And when will you have a certain day of the week picked out for that?
I don't. Yeah, I think I'm hoping that YouTube Premieres comes out, but if not, then I'll just post it. If it premieres, I'll premiere them on like Fridays or something, Friday evenings. Because I figure everybody's going to be hunting on Saturday. So have it come out Friday before you hunt. You can kind of see. So, yeah, hopefully it all turns out. But I don't know when I'm going to start doing it yet. Because the one thing that's weird is like everybody's season starts kind of at a different time. Some people have teal season, some people don't. So I'll probably do a teal one in early September, and maybe that'll be the first one. So.
And is that going to be your Kentucky trip?
You're cutting in and out. What'd you say?
Is that going to be your Kentucky trip too?
Yeah, the Kentucky hunt is a wood duck teal hunt. So hopefully I have the first one out before then. But I'm gonna do it weekly, so even through teal season. And then it'll probably take a break until big duck season.
Yeah.
So, it'll be good. I think, hopefully a lot of people see it and a lot of people go check out all the other YouTubers too. Cause we got a good group of YouTubers all doing their duck hunting stuff. And, it should be good.
Yeah, that'll be fun.
Kind of back on that teal thing. I'm really pumped. My dad's going to be coming on a teal hunt this year. So it'll be his first time duck hunting. I've probably talked about it before, but I'm pretty pumped about it. So,
so how did you do last year during teal season? How'd you do?
I didn't do great. So like for me, if I just get 2 or 3, I'm fine by myself. I did solo hunts, and I took one of my buddies once, and we shot 3 that day with my buddy. So, like we don't get a lot. There's just not a lot of teal in the area. So I'm just fine with getting a few, working chief. And that's fine. But as far as like we're gonna actually travel down to southern Indiana, and check out some of their spots. I've heard that the teal are kind of better the further south you go. So Indiana's a really long state, so we can actually get pretty far south and still be in our state, use our same state licenses. But we're gonna go for a weekend. I'm not gonna have high expectations, but I expect better than if we stayed at home.
You need to go with James Ratliff here on September 8th and get on those early geese.
Northwest Indiana. Yeah.
Is that a long ways from you?
Northwest? No. Yeah. Northwest is good. Yeah. I mean, we have good geese in our area too. But yeah, the geese usually aren't on like public land. You got to get permission from farmers. Yeah.
Yeah, we don't have any goose. And we have the only geese we have right now are just locals that never migrate, and we don't even have a season for it. And even if we did, the goose hunting here does not get good until it gets really, really cold and pushes them all in. So we just don't have anything like that at all.
Yeah.
And I don't know about teal season this year. With the central part of the state is the teal mecca, and that's where we really get into them. And they are so hurting for water. I don't even know if we're going to be hunting the central part of the state. So if we hunt around here, it's typically hit or miss. So I don't know. I don't know what to expect during teal season. We did really good season 1 and 2 teal season, and then not good at all on season 3. So,
really?
Yeah.
I thought you guys, was that tornado hunt not last season?
That was a teal hunt, but that was not early teal. That was actually the opener of big duck season.
Okay.
So that was still teal, but it wasn't during teal season.
Gotcha.
During teal season, we went to where we fed my dad the dog food and didn't shoot any on that trip. I had one trip where I shot 2, and another trip I shot 4. So I think I was like 6 out of 6, like 6 birds on 6 hunts, 8 birds on 6 hunts, something like that. It was pretty poor.
Nice. Yeah, my
That's why I was
first.
so excited on that teal hunt where Aiden and I shot our limit in the tornado thing, because we had been struggling clear back to season 3. All season 2 was terrible the last half, and then teal season was bad. So when we shot our limit of teal in 25 minutes on that hunt, it was one of the best feelings in the world, because we had been on such a drought.
Nice. Yeah, my first hunt of the year is gonna be that season, so or that weekend teal hunt. So you got your first hunt of the season planned out yet?
I don't know where. The first teal hunt, is that what you said?
Yeah, well, it will be a teal hunt, but your first hunt of the season, what, you don't have it planned out yet?
It all depends on water. It depends on what we have for water. So, I just have to. I don't know. I won't know until like the week before, because none of
Yeah.
the pools around here have started pumping, and
So
the pools in the central part of the state have no water.
so if you're going to the central part, it probably makes it hard to scout like beforehand.
Well, it does, but at the same time, my uncle actually lives there, like literally lives there. He has a hunter's lodge, and his house is on a hill that overlooks the refuge, so that makes it a lot easier to call. Plus, we're personal friends with the head wildlife guy out there too. So,
Is that the guy who's coming on?
no, it's not. The guy that's coming on is from Cheyenne Bottoms. I tried to contact our friend. I don't think he must have been too shy or something. He didn't even respond to my email, so I don't know. But I'm glad the guy we're having. I'm glad, because Cheyenne Bottoms is like historical, nationally recognized, nationally known spot, and so it's pretty exciting to have him on and talk to him about everything that's going on over there at Cheyenne Bottoms. But we could go out there too. So if I get a good report from him, because we're having him on like 4 days before the opener, so he'll give us a port right there on the spot. So we could always that's a 4-hour drive, but we'll do that if we need to.
Awesome. Yeah, I can't wait. It's like what is it now? Is it like 31 days till season for me?
Yeah, it's about yeah, it's about that, isn't it?
Is it?
Just over 4 weeks.
Are you the 8th as well? Your opening day?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Nice. Yep. Same here. So.
Yeah, I need to call the local game managers around here and talk to them about what their plans are for pumping, because with all this corn, normally they put a little bit of water in some of these pools for teal, but now that most of them are corn, I anticipate they probably won't put any water in there at all, seeing as though they have to harvest the corn out. So it leaves us a little bit hurting for teal around here with the corn, but it'll be interesting. It'll be interesting to see.
All right, let's take a few questions. If you guys have a few questions, just drop them in the chat. If not, we'll be signing off here. So, yeah.
So let me talk about freelance hunt stats for a second.
Okay, go ahead.
So you guys have probably heard it's freelancehuntstats.com, where you can go in and log your hunt, record all your data, sort all your statistics. So if that's something that you're interested in, make sure and go over there and create an account. But so I'm talking to the developer again about adding some things and doing the next phase of work. So I'm still pounding away at that and excited about. We're overhauling the look of it and everything. And there's about 5 or 6 tasks that I'm going to have him working on. So that's ongoing. And what I'm really excited to get implemented is, and I want to do this fairly quickly if I can, is right now over there, when you sort your own statistics, there's a little eye beside that. So if you see how many birds per hunt that you shoot on average, there's a little white eye beside that. And if you mouse over it, it shows you what the global community's bird per hunt average is as well. So you can see mine's 3.0 per hunt, and everyone else's logged a hunt on here is 2.8 or 3.5 or whatever. But what I want to do is make it so that you can actually sort all of the global community stats, just like run it through a filter. So when you put in north wind, then you can see how many hunts everyone's logged and how they've done. And I want to be able to break it down by state as well, which I had not done that before. Where it's like, how are people doing in Kansas? How are they doing in Missouri? How are they doing in Texas? And and that's going to be really, really cool, I think, for people to be able to just see all over the nation what the averages are, and really play with it.
Nice. Someone, well, I don't know if you'd want to answer that or not, but
yeah, I can answer that. Adam Tracker says, how many subscribers do you have on Hunt Stats so far? I haven't actually. My developer holds all that information, and I haven't checked with him for about 3 weeks. But about 3 weeks ago, there was 650 accounts created. Now, those are not paid accounts created. You can create an account and you can log your hunts for free, and then if you want to actually total up all your account and sort it all, then you have to pay $4.99 a month. But I'm lowering the price to our special for $2.99 a month. It's going to happen any day as soon as the developer does it, but it's going to be $2.99 a month for a while. But over 750 accounts created over there, which I think I'm really happy with that number in less than a year myself.
Yeah, pretty awesome. And that overhaul definitely looks pretty good. So we'll definitely be talking about that, have some kind of segment during the season talking about our hunt stats. So it'd be awesome.
Yep, Jordan's got outdo me on shooting percent. Are you keeping your shooting percentage this year, Jordan?
Yeah, I will be. I'll be keeping my shooting percentage for sure.
Some people have no desire to do that because keeping track how many shots you shoot can be kind of some people find it to be overwhelming. But and so if you're at the site, you don't have to keep your shooting percentage at all. But I certainly really like it.
Yeah, I think it should be easy. Just kind of think about every flock of birds that came in and how many times you shot and how many birds you hit.
Well, the main key is knowing how many shells you went out there with.
Yeah, that works too.
I walk into the marsh with a shell belt of 24 every single time, and that's what I've got. And so then all I have to remember is shots on cripples, because I don't count shots on like if fumbles drops the bird and it's winged and I put on water, I don't count that shot. So then that's all I have to count is how many of those. Normally it's only 3. So that's pretty easy to remember.
Yeah. All right. Well,
I love keeping.
Nice. Well, I think that about does it for us tonight. So I guess this is probably good a spot as any to sign off. So thanks for joining us on another episode of the Duck Gun Podcast. We appreciate you guys tuning in and joining us. And, do us a big favor. Check us out on iTunes and, leave us a review. But anyways, we'll see you guys next week.